Hi, I'm Rabbi Bertie Becker, and this is a brief DVAR for Yom Kippur. The world in which we live has dramatically changed during the past year. I was online earlier last week with a friend in Israel just before the onset of Rosh Hashanah there. Israel went back into lockdown. During a time when family, friends, and community gathered to celebrate, they again were locked behind their doors. Set for 3 weeks, it will continue through Yom Kippur and for more than half of Sukkot. It is not the first time that we have had to worship behind doors. It most likely will not be the last. Now is the time for turning, the time for change. Judaism is authentic today because it has changed. It lives because it is dynamic. The magnificent Parthenon stands in Athens. It is a reminder of an ancient Greek culture that once flourished, but is no longer practiced. And if one travels to the great pyramids of Giza, no one will ascend the stairs to converse with the sun god. A marble altar may sit in the middle of the Roman Colosseum arena, but no one will be worshiping Plato or Diana there. And on the other hand, the Temple of Jerusalem is gone. Only its outer protecting wall remains standing. Yet Jews all over the world continue to worship the one God, Adonai, whom the ancient Israelites worshipped, even using the same words. We can read those words in the Dead Sea Scrolls, as well as in our prayer books. And although we continue to use the same words, those words have taken on a different meaning. Just as when the temple fell, we had to learn an alternative to sacrifices to show devotion to God, so too, we now find ourselves adapting to the needs of this time and its circumstances. The beauty of our prayers and other texts is that each generation, each individual has the opportunity, even the obligation to search for meaning in those words, to connect to the message of the prayers. There's a wonderful Hasidic story. Ali Wiesel used it as a preface in his book, The Gates of the Forest. It goes, when the great Rabbi Israel Baal Shem Tov saw misfortune threatening the Jews, it was his custom to go into a certain part of the forest to meditate. There he would light a fire, say a special prayer, and the miracle would be accomplished, the misfortune averted. Later, when his disciple, the celebrated Maggid of Mezrich, had occasion for the same reason to intercede with heaven, he would go to the same place in the forest and say, Master of the universe, I do not know how to light the fire, but I am still able to say the prayer. And again, the miracle would be accomplished. Still later, Rabbi Moshe Bleib of Sasov, in order to save his people once more, would go to the forest and say, I do not know how to light the fire. I do not know the prayer, but I know the place, and this must be sufficient. It was sufficient, and the miracle was accomplished. Then it fell to Rabbi Israel of Ritzin to overcome misfortune. Sitting in his armchair, head in hands, he spoke to God. I am unable to light the fire. I do not know the prayer. I cannot even find the place in the forest. All I can do is tell the story. This must be sufficient. It was sufficient. The stories we tell one another are powerful. That is why we tell the story of the crossing of the Sea of Reeds, not only on Passover, but every day in our morning services. In every age, we come to this story with a new understanding. But there are many who gather on Passover and don't know the prayers and cannot sing the melodies. And it is certainly true that we don't know exactly what occurred, how, or where. But tell the story we do. Why? Because in order to stay connected to the divine presence, we must continue to remember. never to forget. Not that story, nor any in Tanakh, for we were pledged to remember. Voluntold, my friend would say. When Torah was given to us, it was not only for that generation, but for all the descendants yet to come. That's you and me, and our children, and our parents, our grandchildren, and our grandparents, and on through the generations, door to door. We are reminded in Deuteronomy that Torah is not in the heavens, nor is it across the sea. It is not too distant for us. It is here for us to live, change, and grow with it. To turn it and turn it, as Rabbi Ben Bagbag stated, everything is in it. Over the ark, in many congregations, are the words that mean, know before whom you stand. On these holidays, Israel stands before God, Yisrael, God wrestler. But this year we don't wrestle alone. All around the world, one's way of life is being curtailed, cultures are being altered, and lives are being lost. With the entire world combating the same dangers, COVID-19 and climate change, with the fires and smoke, the floods and drought that directly are mentioned in our prayers, the effects of these travels around the world, as surely as COVID virus does. We have an opportunity to come together as one world to find effective responses. The alternative will be to function each on his own little turf, powered by each person's ego. Then, like another story, the Tower of Babel, we will know greater divisiveness, our words falling incomprehensible on another's ears. When that occurs, we surely fail at the central endeavor, choosing life. So let us recognize that we stand before ourselves as well as God. As we wrestle with our values and ethics, our beliefs and our practices, the world is changing, and we are participating in the development of a new way of life. Even as we ask God to be just, may we pursue justice. As we ask God to be compassionate, may we display compassion. As we ask God for life, may we understand what it means to live fully with heart and head and spirit directed toward Tikkun Olam, healing the world and all thereon. May we turn toward each other, panim el panim, face to face, and choose to care about the divine image in the one we face, so that they never become the other, but rather serve as a reflection of ourselves. We look forward to the day when we can again be unmasked, face to face, holding hands, hugging and praying, in a world free of hate and fear, a world appreciated as a gift from God in a life of gratitude and shalom, completeness, and shalom, peace. Amen.